5 things you should never give people, even if they ask. Stoic mindset. 1. Never give people your self-respect. Have you ever noticed how easily people can lose themselves while trying to please others? It rarely happens all at once. Instead, it happens through small compromises made day after day. A person stays silent when they should speak up. They tolerate behavior they know is wrong. They accept disrespect because they fear conflict or rejection. Over time, these small sacrifices begin to erode their sense of self. What once felt like kindness slowly becomes self-betrayal. The Stoics understood that self-respect is one of the most valuable things a person possesses. Wealth can disappear. Relationships can change. Success can come and go. But your character remains with you wherever you go. This is why Stoic philosophy places such a strong emphasis on integrity. When you lose your self-respect, you begin making decisions based on fear rather than wisdom. You start chasing approval instead of truth. You become more concerned with how others see you than with who you actually are. Many people spend their lives seeking validation. They want everyone to like them. They want everyone to approve of their choices. As a result, they become prisoners of public opinion. They adjust their beliefs to fit the crowd. They suppress their values to avoid criticism. Eventually, they become strangers to themselves. The more approval they gain, the emptier they feel inside because they know they achieved it by abandoning their authenticity. A person with self-respect understands that not everyone will agree with them. They know some people will criticize their decisions. Others may dislike their boundaries. Some may even walk away entirely. Yet they remain committed to their principles. They understand that temporary approval is never worth permanent regret. They would rather disappoint others than disappoint themselves. Their confidence comes from living according to their values rather than chasing acceptance from people who may never truly appreciate them. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the opinions of others are outside his control. People will judge you based on their own experiences, biases, and emotions. Some will misunderstand you. Some will underestimate you. Some will criticize you regardless of what you do. If your self-worth depends on their approval, your peace will always remain fragile. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from focusing on what you can control: your actions, your decisions, and your character. One of the greatest threats to self-respect is the desire to fit in. Human beings naturally want connection and belonging. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when acceptance becomes more important than integrity. Many people join conversations they know are wrong, support behaviors they disagree with, or remain silent in the face of injustice simply because they fear standing alone. They trade their principles for popularity, and eventually pay for it with their peace of mind. Self-respect also requires boundaries. Some people will ask for more than they deserve. They may demand your time, your energy, your attention, or your loyalty without offering the same in return. If you never establish limits, they will continue taking. Stoicism teaches that boundaries are not acts of hostility. They are acts of wisdom. A boundary simply communicates that your dignity matters. It reminds others that kindness does not mean weakness and generosity does not mean unlimited access. Another sign of self-respect is the ability to walk away. Walking away is not always easy. Sometimes it means leaving relationships that no longer serve your growth. Sometimes it means stepping away from toxic environments. Sometimes it means refusing opportunities that require compromising your values. Many people stay because they fear loss. They fear loneliness. They fear uncertainty. But the Stoics believe that losing your integrity is far worse than losing comfort or convenience. The truth is that people often treat you according to what you allow. If you constantly tolerate disrespect, others learn that there are no consequences for crossing your boundaries. If you consistently defend your values, people learn to respect them. You teach others how to treat you by the standards you refuse to compromise. This is why self-respect is not only about how you see yourself. It also influences how the world responds to you. Never give people your self-respect, even if they ask for it directly or indirectly. Never abandon your values to gain approval. Never lower your standards to avoid criticism. Never betray your principles to keep someone comfortable. Your self-respect is the foundation of your confidence, your peace, and your character. Protect it fiercely, because once you truly value it, you will understand that it is worth more than any praise the world can offer. 2. Never give people control over your peace of mind. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling calm, focused, and ready for the day ahead. The sun rises, the air feels fresh, and for a brief moment everything seems peaceful. Then you check your phone. A message from someone criticizing you. A comment attacking your work. News that something did not go according to plan. Within seconds your mood changes. The peace you had a moment ago disappears. This happens to millions of people every day. Their emotional state depends entirely on what happens around them. If people praise them, they feel happy. If people criticize them, they feel miserable. If circumstances go their way, they feel confident. If things go wrong, they feel defeated. They have unknowingly handed the keys to their inner world over to other people. The Stoics warned against this mistake. They believed that one of the greatest forms of freedom is emotional independence. This does not mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means refusing to let external events dictate your inner state. It means understanding that while you cannot control what happens around you, you can control how you respond to it. There is an old story about a wise philosopher who was constantly insulted by a man in the marketplace. Every day the man would shout cruel words and mock him in front of crowds. Yet the philosopher never reacted. One day a student finally asked, "Why do you never respond to him?" The philosopher smiled and asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The student replied, "To the person who offered it." The philosopher nodded and said, "The same is true of insults." That lesson remains powerful today. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your energy. Not every conflict deserves your participation. Many people spend years fighting battles that never needed to be fought. They replay arguments in their minds. They obsess over what someone said about them. They imagine conversations that may never happen. Long after the event is over, they continue suffering because they refuse to let it go. Marcus Aurelius understood this struggle. As one of the most powerful men in the world, he faced criticism, betrayal, political attacks, and endless challenges. Yet he reminded himself that the opinions of others could only disturb him if he allowed them to. His peace came not from controlling people but from controlling his reactions. Think about how much of your stress comes from things outside your control. Someone misunderstands your intentions. A stranger leaves a negative comment. A friend fails to appreciate your efforts. A coworker behaves unfairly. These situations can certainly be unpleasant. But often the suffering does not come from the event itself. It comes from the story we tell ourselves afterward. We replay the event again and again. We analyze every detail. We imagine what we should have said. We create scenarios in our minds that increase our frustration. The original problem may have lasted 5 minutes, but our reaction extends the pain for days, weeks, or even years. The Stoics believe that peace is too valuable to be placed in someone else's hands. Once you understand this, your perspective begins to change. You stop asking, "Why are they doing this to me?" and start asking, "Why am I allowing this to control me?" This shift changes everything. Consider a ship crossing a vast ocean. Storms are inevitable. Strong winds will come. Massive waves will appear without warning. The captain cannot stop the storm. He cannot command the sea to become calm. What he can control is how he navigates through it. Your mind is that ship. Life will always bring criticism, setbacks, disappointments, and difficult people. Trying to eliminate all challenges is impossible. Learning to navigate them is essential. One of the biggest threats to peace of mind is the need for universal approval. Many people want everyone to like them. They want everyone to agree with their choices. They want everyone to understand them. But this is an impossible goal. No matter how kind you are, someone will dislike you. No matter how hard you work, someone will criticize you. No matter how much good you do, someone will find fault. The moment you accept this reality, You stop wasting energy trying to satisfy everyone. You begin living according to your values instead of the expectations of strangers. Another threat to peace is comparison. Modern life makes comparison easier than ever. Every day people scroll through endless images of success, wealth, beauty, and achievement. They compare their struggles to someone else's highlights. They compare their beginning to another person's finish line. Then they wonder why they feel inadequate. The Stoics would remind us that comparison steals gratitude. The more you focus on what others have, the less you appreciate what you already possess. Peace grows when attention returns to the present moment. It grows when you focus on your own path. It grows when you stop measuring your worth against someone else's journey. There is another lesson that many people learn too late. Not everyone deserves access to your emotional energy. Some individuals thrive on drama. They constantly create conflict. They spread negativity wherever they go. They complain about every situation and criticize every solution. If you allow these people unrestricted access to your mind, they will drain your peace faster than almost anything else. Stoicism teaches us to be compassionate but selective. You can care about people without carrying their chaos. You can listen without absorbing their negativity. You can help without sacrificing your emotional stability. Peace requires boundaries. A calm mind is not created by accident. It is protected through conscious choices made every day. Every time you refuse to engage in unnecessary arguments, you protect your peace. Every time you let go of an insult instead of carrying it for weeks, you protect your peace. Every time you focus on what you can control instead of obsessing over what you cannot, you protect your peace. This is not weakness. It is strength. Anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can become angry. Anyone can lose control. True strength is remaining calm when chaos surrounds you. The Stoics understood that your mind is one of your most valuable possessions. If someone can control your emotions whenever they choose, they effectively control a part of your life. That is why peace must be guarded carefully. The world will always contain difficult people. There will always be critics. There will always be disappointments. There will always be unexpected challenges. But none of these things have the power to destroy your peace unless you surrender it. Never give people control over your peace of mind. Protect it. Strengthen it. Guard it like a treasure. Because once you learn to remain calm in a world full of noise, you possess a power that very few people will ever understand. 3. Never give people unlimited access to your time. Time is the one thing you can never recover. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities missed can sometimes return. Relationships can be rebuilt. But every minute that passes is gone forever. Yet many people give away their time as if it has no value. They allow interruptions to dominate their day. They say yes when they want to say no. They spend hours pleasing others while neglecting their own goals and responsibilities. The Stoics viewed time as life's most precious resource. Seneca wrote that people protect their money carefully but waste their time freely. His observation remains true today. Many people complain about not having enough time while giving countless hours to distractions, unnecessary drama, and people who do not respect their priorities. Imagine a young man who dreams of building a better future. He wants to learn new skills, improve his health, and create a meaningful life. Every morning he promises himself that today will be different. Yet throughout the day, people constantly demand his attention. One friend wants to gossip. Another wants help with problems they refuse to solve themselves. Social media steals hours of focus. By the end of the day, he has spent all his energy serving everyone else's agenda while his own dreams remain untouched. Years pass. The people who consumed his time move on with their lives. The opportunities he ignored disappear. The goals he postponed remain unfinished. This is the hidden cost of giving people unlimited access to your time. Stoicism teaches that every day should be treated as valuable. When you understand that your time is limited, you become more intentional about where you invest it. You stop viewing your schedule as public property. You begin protecting your attention and directing it toward what truly matters. Many people fear setting boundaries because they worry about appearing selfish. However, there is a difference between selfishness and self-respect. Selfishness ignores the needs of others. Self-respect recognizes that your needs matter too. You cannot build a meaningful life if everyone else controls your calendar. The most successful and fulfilled people understand this principle. They know that saying yes to everything means saying no to something important. Every unnecessary commitment takes time away from growth, learning, family, health, and purpose. There will always be people who expect immediate access to you. Some may become frustrated when you prioritize your goals. Others may accuse you of changing. In reality, you are not becoming selfish. You are becoming intentional. A Stoic understands that time is life itself. Every hour spent is an hour exchanged for something. The question is whether what you receive in return is worth the price. Guard your time carefully. Spend it on what strengthens your mind, improves your character, and moves you closer to your purpose. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. Those who become angry when you protect your time often benefited from your lack of boundaries in the first place. Never give people unlimited access to your time. Once it is gone, no power on earth can bring it back. 4. Never give people the power to define your worth. One of the most dangerous habits a person can develop is allowing others to determine their value. From childhood, many people are taught to seek approval. They learn to measure themselves through grades, praise, popularity, or recognition. As adults, the pattern continues. They judge their worth by the opinions of friends, family, coworkers, or strangers. This creates a fragile foundation. If someone praises them, they feel valuable. If someone criticizes them, they feel worthless. Their confidence rises and falls according to forces they cannot control. The Stoics rejected this way of living. They believe that your value comes from your character, not from public opinion. The crowd can be wrong. Society can be mistaken. Even people who care about you may fail to recognize your worth. History is filled with examples of individuals who were misunderstood during their lifetimes. They faced criticism, rejection, and ridicule. Yet they continued pursuing what they believed was right because they refused to let others define them. Imagine a talented artist who spends years creating meaningful work. One day, someone dismisses their efforts with a harsh comment. If the artist's worth depends on external validation, that single opinion can destroy their confidence. But if their worth comes from within, criticism becomes information rather than a verdict. This principle applies to every area of life. Some people will judge you because you dream too big. Others will judge you because you refuse to follow the crowd. Some will criticize your ambition. Others will criticize your simplicity. No matter what path you choose, someone will disagree. If your identity depends on universal approval, you will spend your life chasing something impossible. The Stoics encouraged people to focus on virtue rather than reputation. Reputation belongs to others. Virtue belongs to you. Reputation can change overnight. Virtue remains under your control. There will be moments when people underestimate you. They may fail to recognize your efforts. They may overlook your achievements. They may even question your abilities. During those moments, remember that another person's opinion is not a measurement of your value. A diamond remains valuable even when someone fails to recognize it. Your worth does not decrease because another person cannot see it. The strongest individuals understand this truth. They do not require constant praise to believe in themselves. They do not collapse under criticism. They remain grounded because their confidence comes from their principles, not public approval. Never hand someone the authority to define your worth. That responsibility belongs to you alone. 5. Never give people your future. Many people surrender their future without realizing it. They allow fear, pressure, expectations, and opinions to shape their decisions. Instead of building the life they truly want, they build the life others expect them to live. The Stoics believe that each person has a responsibility to fulfill their own potential. This requires courage because the world often pushes people toward conformity. Family members may have expectations. Friends may have opinions. Society may define success in a way that does not align with your values. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path represents your authentic goals. The other represents what everyone else wants from you. The second path often appears easier because it comes with approval. People support it. They encourage it. They understand it. The first path is different. It requires uncertainty. It demands courage. It asks you to trust yourself. Many people choose the second path and spend decades wondering why they feel unfulfilled. They achieved what others wanted. They earned approval. They avoided criticism. Yet something remains missing because they abandoned their own vision. Your future is one of the greatest gifts you possess. Every decision you make today shapes the person you become tomorrow. When you allow others to dictate those decisions, you gradually lose ownership of your life. This does not mean ignoring advice. Wise counsel is valuable. The Stoics often learn from teachers, mentors, and friends. The difference is that they listened thoughtfully rather than obeying blindly. They accepted guidance without surrendering responsibility for their choices. There will always be people who doubt your dreams. Some will tell you your goals are unrealistic. Others will encourage you to settle. Some may even project their own fears onto you. If you listen too closely, their limitations can become your limitations. The future belongs to those who maintain ownership of their direction. They learn from others without becoming controlled by them. They respect opinions without becoming dependent on them. They remain open-minded while staying true to their purpose. Years from now, you will live with the consequences of your decisions, not the people who pressured you into making them. That is why you must choose carefully. Never give people your future. Protect your vision. Protect your goals. Protect your purpose. Because the life you build should reflect your values, your principles, and your dreams, not someone else's expectations. And that is the Stoic mindset. Protect your self-respect, guard your peace of mind, value your time, define your own worth, and take ownership of your future. Master these 5 principles, and you will possess a level of inner strength that very few people ever achieve. If you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom, mental toughness, self-discipline, and timeless strategies for living a stronger and more meaningful life.